Well, we've talked about when people should downsize, but this one's a little more personal. How do you know if it is time? Not in theory, not financially on paper, but for you in your life right now. I'm Mark Leishman.
And I'm Hannah McQueen, and this is the next bit bite-sized.
Now, Hannah, we're going to draw on your experience and expertise from your years working as a financial advisor. 20,000 meetings or more with clients to help answer this big question.
Thank you. This is a very common question, so I am happy to unpack it with you all.
Hannah, is there actually a right time for people to downsize?
The right time is before you run out of money. And you want to give yourself a couple of years leeway on that so that you're not forced to sell your property at a lower price than what you could have got for it if we had been a little more thoughtful in the process. But if your KiwiSaver is going to run out, let's say it's 72, ideally you are well underway for downsizing by around 70.
All right. What's the decision driven by most? Is it health, money, age?
Well, it depends. If you don't have enough saved for your retirement, it's going to be driven by money, by and large, and you're doing it a lot earlier in that retirement life cycle. If you're not needing to do it for money, i.e. you've got enough money, it normally is driven by the size of the property that you're maintaining and it becoming too big to handle. Or it's driven by family who are worried that you are too far away for them to be able to help you easily if they need to. So it depends on your retirement readiness, and if you are very ready, it's less of a financial decision. It's more of a health and a safety decision.
What are some of the early signs that perhaps a house is becoming a burden for someone?
Well, I guess if you ask the wife of someone who owns a big house, it might be that they're not mowing the lawns as readily as they should, or the maintenance is falling behind, or the property's looking tired, or you're just not using rooms in the house anymore and they're just sitting there dormant.
Well,
sometimes the sign is that not only are they sitting there dormant, but they are full of stuff. But it's... I think you know if a property is if it's getting away from you, and I think certainly the adult children probably observe that sometimes before the parents might.
And also, of course, there's an emotional quotient, I suppose, and the process of moving house is pretty problematic too. I mean, it's stressful.
It's stressful just generally, and it can be brutal as well. So if it's a planned downsize and it's kind of a long time coming, ideally you're not doing things really quickly and you're kind of working through the process. But it's stressful because you are trying to get the house ready for sale. You're trying to maximize that value, and that isn't necessarily where you play for a lot of people. And in addition to that, you're packaging up a lot of memories. You are throwing away a lot of things. People are valuing your things really cheaply, even though they mean a lot to you if you're trying to sell them. All of that,
sentimental value.
It's uncomfortable. It's horrible. And so there's a lot to work through there. It becomes brutal when it's an unplanned downsize. And that's the bit that I'm trying to avoid previously for my clients, but certainly now when I wear my Brightly hat. An unplanned downsize is your partner needing to go into care, and neither of you were expecting that to happen. And one of the main causes of that is that they've had a fall. They've had a fall which caused a fracture, which put them into hospital. They lost strength. Maybe they were discharged home, then they had another fall, and then before you know it, frailty's accelerated, off to the rest home they go. That in itself is horrible. It's covered with guilt. You feel like you've let your partner down. But then not only that, they're going into a rest home that they don't want to be in, usually. the facilities are not what they're used to. And if you want nicer facilities, it's going to cost you quite a bit. That is when an unplanned downsize happens. Because if you're wanting to facilitate that for your partner, you're having to sell your house. Well, you've got to do that quickly. And there's only one of you that's doing it because the other one's in the rest home. That's what you want to avoid, because not only is that horrific, it comes at a huge financial toll as well. And that's the bit that really kind of rips your nightie, because it just feels so unjust.
Is there a sort of a mindset shift that people should make about this whole question of downsizing?
Yeah, there is. I think that your home is to serve you, right? It is to serve your retirement. You have accidentally, because I think most people just drift towards it, created an asset. And everyone says it's an unproductive asset. That's what you hear your whole life. Your home is an unproductive asset. This is the one time it becomes productive, when you release capital from that enables something else. But there is a mindset shift for that. But if you look at your home as just an asset that is there to serve a purpose, it's less emotional.
And is there a clear sign? I know this is asking for everything, I suppose, but a clear sign that now's the time?
The most obvious sign is if your savings balance is depleting. Now is the time. If you are aware of that and it's starting to feel uncomfortable, it's sort of rocketed down, you need to be thinking about downsizing your home. Is there an age you should do it? Maybe kind of earlier than 75. I kind of like the early 70s, because I think you've got the time, you've got the energy, you've got the stamina to navigate what is quite a fraught process. But if it usually feels uncomfortable, often with money, you do know when you need to do something. You just haven't named it yet, because when you name it, it becomes real, right? But the discomfort of your savings just kind of washing away, that's your sign. You get little signs, but that's your sign that you still have control of this. But if you let that wash right away,
then the panic will set in.
Well, then you bleed out financially.
Yeah. Thank you very much. If this episode feels quite relatable to you, then maybe it's time to just start the conversation with yourself or with your family.
Downsizing isn't about shrinking your life. It's about protecting your independence while you still have choice.
If you found this helpful, share it with someone who might need to hear it.
And make sure you're following the next bit for more practical, honest conversations about retirement, money, and aging well.
Simply hit the subscribe button so you don't miss an episode, and we'll see you next time.